All right. Hello, folks. Welcome. Disembodied Roffle voice here. It's a little early for me. Yesterday was a tough day, so I am not on camera, but I am excited to be cast in this match. We're going to be joining Balatros in the booth in just a moment, and we've got what should be an entertaining matchup between Edzy and Neato today, so stay tuned for that. We're just gonna get the okay from the players once they're ready, and I'll go ahead and join the booth with Balatros right now. If you don't know Balatros, he's a fellow Balatro YouTuber, does some streaming as well, but does some very high quality, like in-depth videos over on the YouTube side of things. So we'll be hearing from him in just a moment. Hello. He may be, or Balatros may be AFK right now. Or I'm just muted and talking to myself. I mean, I'm muted now. Okay, there's Neato. We're almost there. Paper Moon, thank you for the 10. All right, alerts are off just as they were yesterday. I forgot to mention that. Chat interaction will be limited because we'll be focused on casting the games, but thank you all for the support.
That's good. Neato is online. Should be coming soon.
Hello? Hello, hello? I don't think you can hear me, chat. Yeah, I know you can hear me at least, so thank you for that, but I'm not sure that Balatros can hear me. We don't hear Balatros? That's because they're not talking. Yeah, we heard him for a moment. So it's definitely, I think it's on... No, it wasn't Edzy, it was Balatros.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect,
How are you doing?
Perfect. How are you doing today?
Great, great. I'm excited for these matches today. I've been looking forward to these.
Yeah, you've got a couple good ones to cast. Beyond the Edzy and Neato, I believe you're immediately joined in the booth by Edzy after this one. Who's your second match today?
Yeah, it's Nemo versus Gothic, I'm pretty sure. I might have to leave a bit early from this one, but yeah, it's gonna be that one's gonna be a good one as well.
Yeah, those are Gothic, sort of the old guard of Balatro, and Nemo, a newcomer for Major League Balatro specifically, but has been playing for a while. But similarly in this one, we've got a couple of players from season 1 that should be able to put on a good show. Neato is particularly known for some pretty aggressive tempo plays and maybe trying to snag some early lives, which can be valuable. Whereas Edzy has been grinding multiplayer for quite a while now and is very good at min-maxing some of those late game runs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty new to the scene here, and I have been trying to keep up with everyone's playstyle. So yeah, thanks for letting me and everyone else know. But yeah, it should be good.
All right, well, it looks like we've got a lobby set up, and just a matter of getting into game here in just a moment. This is week 3, so every player starts on Plasma deck White Stake, which White Stake, you know, does make things approachable, nice and easy. But Plasma math is a nightmare to try and even just usually the way that I do math in Balatro is I don't, and I just send it purely based on vibes. But those vibes are hard to, even the vibes are hard to gauge on Plasma deck. I don't know how much experience you have with it, but it is it's not fun trying to figure out where your scoring breakpoints are.
Yeah, 100%. And as those matches go on, it's just like the less thinking you want to do, right? So it's gonna be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, especially as we get late, and maybe this is just me speaking from my own experience yesterday. You end up maybe put in situations where you're risking glass unnecessarily just because you can't really get a good sense of your score and how much glass you need to send. So, you know, an experience on Plasma deck specifically is very critical for this match as we do send it off, and the extraordinarily rare double investment tag Ante 1 skip. That is your best skip, but giving up 2 shops at this stage in the run in exchange for that money is very risky, as we see Edzy going for the small blind skip, but not the big blind skip with that in mind, just to get a single shop. That first buffoon pack is very important.
100%, and we already have our first little bit of divergence. Neato not taking the skip tag, and we see Edzy getting a lusty joker from the buffoon pack. Not much there, so yeah, gonna be picking up the business card.
We do see the value of seeing those shops, though. That's 2 really good, you know, value and econ engines in the form of hallucination and business card. Both of those are very strong in getting your deck set up. So had Edzy, you know, taken both skips, which might be tempting into the pillar, which, you know, scoring at this stage isn't that big of a deal without jokers on Plasma deck, but, you know, there's maybe a temptation there. That's a lot of value that Edzy could have missed out on had he taken both skips, as Neato, another divergence here, does not take the hallucination, does not take the early pack as well, really leaning on that interest game plan to make up for the lack of money from the skip tags here.
For sure. One thing I did notice, I did cast another one of Neato's streams, and one issue she was coming across was playing white stake runs as if they were like gold stake runs. She was playing it extra safe, not rolling down as much as she needed to, and hopefully she might have learned a thing or two since last time and comes with a different approach.
Yeah. In past seasons, she has been willing to, you know, set aside some time to really grind and practice that, and we have seen, you know, both of the first 2 seasons some, you know, improvements very quickly, especially maybe midway through the season. So we'll see if that's the case now, but that is definitely something that's been true, and it may be something that is, you know, a lack of familiarity in Plasma deck might also lead to those same types of conservative plays too, right? If you don't know, you know, how to gauge the scoring because it's Plasma deck is weird, you might be tempted to take something like a supernova, which is pretty low value on Plasma deck at this stage in the run. Honestly, even later in the run, it tends to not be a high value pickup on Plasma.
Yeah, exactly. And we already got our first chip joker on Edzy's side, so he's gonna be able to breeze by.
Yeah, and this clever joker, which gives, you know, 80 chips on a 2 pair, is actually really helpful for farming up this business card, because what you can do is you can play those face cards to try and get some business card value without running the risk of accidentally just winning because of how much they're scoring. So you can
exactly
you know, that's something, it may score you less points, but it's actually more valuable than even something like a Stuntman, which just clears the blind immediately before you can do anything with the business card.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by scoring too much when you have these jokers you can capitalize on.
Yeah, and as we see here, Edzy, you know, further extending the econ advantage, already, you know, a bit of a head start with the investment tag, but then getting good and consistent business card value here. Well, I don't think we mentioned it, not really missing much in that second shop that that he traded for that investment tag skip. Clever Joker appearing for Neato as well, and Paintbrush as the voucher is a pretty good pickup early. I think the... Oh no, the lives are correct. Neato did lose a life, I believe, to the boss blind, getting
oh wow,
maybe a little bit punished by that pillar. First of all, not having chips early, and you know, playing those extra blinds, actually not being able to get chips from the cards themselves because they're debuffed from playing them in the blind. So doubly punished for not taking that investment tag, or either of those investment tags, and a foil Joker stencil here off of the Judgment. There could be an early sell of this Joker stencil, just because those extra chips might, as we can see, score a little bit too quickly for what Edzy wants in terms of that Clever Joker. We see him mousing over the stencil, maybe indicating that it's got to go soon.
Yeah, losing a life that early is unfortunate. Wow, I'm pretty surprised.
Yeah, especially on Plasma deck, where scoring, you know, is pretty abundant if you know some of your breakpoints. Basically, just a flush with scoring cards will get you through the first 4 blinds in one shot. Certain 2 pairs will get you through the first couple. So again, a lack of familiarity with Plasma deck is something that we've been seeing a lot throughout this week. It's just it's great for high scores, but you have to get to the point where you can get high scores in order for that to be relevant. Speaking of high scores, Edzy unlocking Flush House here on what is basically Ante 2, getting a level in it. That's going to be a huge advantage as we progress to the late game here.
Yeah, very huge. Already capitalizing with the planet level as well. That's lovely to see. Very well played from Edzy so far.
Definitely. Gonna get rewarded with the purple seal as we see Neato pass on that first standard pack. But that is something that, you know, has been cleaned up since the first couple weeks. A lot of the ways that Neato was getting behind was not valuing those standard packs as highly as they should be for multiplayer specifically. A lot of where you can, you know, get levers for strength is from seals in those standard packs. Things like purple, gold, even a blue seal that we've seen from Edzy, in addition to the red seal for the late game play. Basically, every seal is extraordinarily valuable for a multiplayer match because it helps enable your build and give you direction on what to build towards.
Very true. And there we have it. Edzy sells out of the stencil foil stencil for more chips with the ice cream. I think he's gearing up for a PvP round, looking to take that second life.
Yeah, and in an uncomfortable position here with the Faceless Joker versus that business card. Faceless Joker with the Merry Andrew has a lot of potential value, but the hand that he's looking to draw, which is that Flush House, is in face cards, so might create a little bit of tension in terms of what to discard, especially with the reduced hand size of the Merry Andrew. On the other side, we do see Neato making good use of this business card, has a lot of money to spend, you know, potentially as a result of taking a life loss here. But needs to find some scoring here, as we see her Jokers, especially on Plasma deck, just do not compare with what Edzy's got going in this first PvP.
Exactly, yeah. Let's see what she decides to do with this $55. Buying the hand size voucher. I'm always a big proponent of more hand size. I love my hand size, so
Yeah, and it's just, we do see the Joker stencil come up for Neato. That's going to be some. Now, unlike Edzy, she's going to welcome those extra chips after passing on the clever Joker. So that 50 chips is basically the entirety of her scoring right now. So that's going to be a pretty important pickup, and will definitely help her out.
She chooses not to roll down there, which is pretty interesting. It's like the $37. I mean, you definitely had some reroll money to work with there.
Yeah, and again, that's maybe just a deviation from your typical gameplay on just running single player versus multiplayer. In single player, you maybe want to have that extra $10 buffer in case it's a voucher that's a high priority that you want to purchase. Whereas in multiplayer, you, especially without the order enabled, you really want to roll down the shops to see as many Jokers as are present for that specific ante, because the Joker queue resets as the ante does. So, you know, Edzy was able to see more Jokers. That's how he's able to have things like the Faceless Joker, which is, you know, potentially better econ. That's where the ice cream scoring is coming from, and it's putting Edzy in a great spot to take this first PvP and the second life off of Neato.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. The other day, I was casting with Edzy, and someone, I forget who it was, they missed a blueprint. But funny enough, they actually managed to come by another blueprint later on in the match, and it was like they never missed it in the first place. I mean, obviously a very rare case, but just something funny I just wanted to share. It's a pretty rare moment.
I have my own experiences this past week with missing blueprints, so I can definitely relate to that. It is not a good feeling. But we do see, I believe Edzy is up a purple seal in addition to this blue, which is going to accelerate the deck fixing. And again, maybe another consequence of that that additional money being held on Neato's side, not getting the pack that had the purple.
Yeah, and that's just gonna keep adding up as we keep going. More tarots for Edzy to see, more planets to level as well.
Yeah, and especially the blue seal is painful, but the purple, being down at purple, could especially be rough, because those purple seals propagate, right? You death them, they generate deaths, you get more of them, they generate more deaths, and you just end up with a deck full of purple seals and are, you know, very quickly looking at a much more consistent deck than your opponent that can actually build towards an idol that everybody wants, that can generate a lot of glass and that type of thing. So, you know, being down to purple is pretty devastating. And the good news for Neato is we are on, you know, over $50 now. There's plenty of room to reroll. The voucher is a bummer, but, you know, that just means more time to reroll. If there's key Jokers deep in these shops, she may be able to find them, and Edzy might not, even with this extra Faceless Joker value, just because of, you know, how much extra starting capital Neato has right now. And already that tarot management on Edzy's side paying off as we're getting more face cards into the deck. That's more Faceless Joker value. That's more, you know, potential idol or photograph hanging Chad value. That's a lot of solid progress on the deck composition already, even with, you know, a few more cards in his deck than on Neato's side right now.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely working towards something really great here. And Neato still not spending as much as she should be. Hopefully, we get to see some spending here. I mean, there's stuff to buy for sure.
Exactly. And not only is there stuff to buy, but the more you space out your rerolls, especially, again, considering that anti-long queue, the more you space out your rerolls, the less it costs to roll down for these Jokers, right? If you're spending 3, 4, 5 over the course of, you know, 3 antes worth of shops, that's a lot less money than spending $3 through $10 over one a single ante, that starts to add up a lot faster and really drains your resources. As we do see that photograph come into play here. Neato is the first to see it. That's a big deal, but I don't think it was deep enough for Edzy to miss it. So from Neato's perspective, what we want to see is maybe that hanging Chad quite a bit deeper in the shop. That may give her an opportunity to find, again, that critical piece that Edzy isn't. But even with Edzy's aggressive spending, we do see cashing out at $25, $35 each round, making good use of that Mary Andrew Faceless while still rolling the shop and not falling behind on the shop queue. We do see a blue and a purple come out of that spectral pack for Neato, but Edzy has plenty of funds to make that happen.
Yeah, the Mary Andy Faceless combo was something you'd love to get together, especially early game. You know, you get the opportunity to farm as much money as you can while the score is low enough for you to easily pass on by.
Yeah, and Edzy making a conscious effort here. First of all, picking up taros along the way, but I think because he's so able and willing to go very low in money in each of these shops, also giving himself the opportunity to pick up this $8 pack with only $1 in tow. This is a conscious effort in case there's a Wraith here. You know, there's a lot of really important rare jokers that you want for PvP, and you know, Edzy giving himself the opportunity to take that Wraith without much downside, especially leading into the head-to-head blind coming up here in just a moment.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, obviously doesn't come across the Wraith, but you know, it's always something you gotta take into consideration before opening that spectral pack.
And we see Edzy putting the purple seal on the glass. This is another great decision from Edzy's perspective, just because, again, we talked about generating deaths and wanting to death those purples. Well, now not only are you deathing a purple, but you're deathing a glass at the same time, and especially in the you know, big into the small blinds, you're not going to play that glass anyway. So having it available to copy while also, you know, it being a card that you often want to discard anyway is a good heads up play on Edzy's side here. On Neato's side, we do see quite a few kings coming into play. She's pretty consistently drawing those kings, getting, you know, some decent business card value. Again, to your point earlier, would like to see her using that money to roll down the shops a little bit more so that we can find really the point of separation now with Edzy being so far ahead in deck building needs to be jokers. So Neato needs to find something that Edzy does not. Unfortunately, that thing should not be a throwback, but hopefully some better options come up pretty soon.
For sure. At this point, Edzy is technically ahead in the shop as well, so we shall see what.
We can see a pretty big difference in the total spent. You know, about $30 or so may not seem like that much, but this is with Neato being down 2 lives. This is with Neato, you know, not taking the skips that Edzy did. So there's and you have to consider that this is only going into the second PvP round with Edzy still having 1 shop to spare. So there's it's a wider gap than maybe the numbers suggest right now.
Yeah, and Edzy might actually be in some trouble here. I don't think he's gonna get out of this alive. Nope.
Yeah, got caught greeting.
Yeah.
that can happen. I don't think that it's that big of a deal from Edzy's perspective. Already so far ahead on lives and feeling like maybe he's in a good spot for his scoring compared to with how the previous blinds went. And as you mentioned, is ahead on shop, so you know, has a little bit of space to pick up a Bloodstone, which been intentionally building towards hearts with that in mind,
Mm-hmm.
and gets rewarded for it already. And this is the opposite of what we said needed to happen for Neato here, in that she needed to find a Joker that Edzy didn't. And, you know, again, taking $34 into the PvP, whereas Edzy, we're going to see him spend down to, you know, probably a fraction of that, and get this extra value as a result. Again, putting glass on the purple, even if it's a lower purple, I don't dislike that. But maybe wants to establish some gold cards in order to fish for a golden ticket right now.
Sells out of the hallucination for that bloodstone. Oh, wow. That is crazy. I think that's gonna really put some separation there.
We talked about missing blueprints earlier, and that's not something that you're going to want to have happen to you. Unfortunately, you know, Edzy is going to be up a blueprint here and a bloodstone, so that's two very, very high value, you know, differences between their scoring tech right now, especially as we get into the later antes and start looking to build towards times mult instead of chips.
Yeah, exactly. And he can just farm up this money as well. I mean, blueprints, every Balatro player's dream, essentially.
Yeah, it does give the extra, you know, bit of advantage to that faceless Joker that Edzy has been carrying for quite a while now. And we have talked a lot about, well, first of all, Edzy picking up the death for the purple again. We talked a lot about how the Mary Andy helps with the faceless Joker and giving Edzy a lot of extra, you know, value and money generation. Also just makes it very, very simple for him to draw the flush house that he's been building towards for, you know, since the beginning of the game, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Now he puts out pretty much his one of his biggest hands and can just greed away for the rest of the PvP.
Yeah, and draws the blue seal as well. Kind of an interesting wrinkle with PvP. The most recent hand, even though it's not his last hand, was that flush house. And so if Neato isn't able to beat this 225k, which I don't see any way that she possibly can, Edzy just able to hang on to that blue seal and still get yet another flush house level off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Although, you know, we have seen some decent deck building from Neato's side as well. Does pick up the flush house herself. Is behind on levels, but more importantly, is behind. Wow, I didn't notice she either passed on or sold the photograph, but is behind on 3 critical Jokers now.
Oh wow!
Behind what Edzy is. You know, again, I think this is maybe a lack of familiarity with plasma decks, still overvaluing chips a little bit here, despite, you know, having a good enough hand as well as you know, good enough Jokers in the form of basically just that stencil and a photograph could do more for scoring right now than either of those 2 chip Jokers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, her selling that photograph in order to try to hone in more on chips kind of doesn't do anything, because then the stencil Joker just pretty much gives that X2 anyways as well.
Right.
So. And wow, Edzy finds a red seal face card. It's just getting more and more crazier for him.
Right, and that red seal, first of all, on a face card, like you mentioned, great for the photograph, which Edzy has an advantage over. Also has a lot more purples in the deck to, you know, change the suit and rank of that queen to make it compatible with the flush house game plan. Even just that chariot up in his inventory is, you know, quite valuable on that red seal, and something that could, you know, if the Jokers were more at parity with one another, could be the difference maker in a PvP. Unlikely to be here, but, you know, that's the type of play that comes from a lot of experience doing grinding multiplayer like Edzy has.
Yeah, and decides to put the chariot on it, so always nice to have a little bit of extra safety if you need that.
Right, and might be a little bit difficult to make use of steal when you have the Mary Andy, but Edzy also has 3 lives to play with here. Can choose to be as greedy as he wants, not only in the blinds but also in the upcoming PvP to, hang on to that Mary Andy faceless combo until maybe he finds something to turn the corner. Again, don't think it's going to be necessary here, but Edzy, we can see what Neato's got going on. Edzy can't. And both purple seals coming into play with just one remaining discard. Again, with so many lives to play with, I would not disagree with Edzy just full greeting this, getting rid of the the extra purple, but maybe looking to eke out some extra value off of that blue seal, deciding that that's worth a little bit more. But we'll see. There's plenty of hits left in the deck. You have plenty of lives left. I do like this this greed game plan from Edzy here. Even just saying, what, the blue seal isn't that important. What is important is potentially these purples.
Wow, and he still gets his flush house anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of what went into this decision here is that, we saw the deck check and just saying, hey, I've got kings and queens remaining. I don't, and I've just got more hearts remaining too. I don't need to stress too much about this this flush house level.
Yeah, and on Neato's side, she's appearing to just completely go all in on chips over there. Which is most likely not going to be enough by the time it's the PvP.
Exactly. This could have worked maybe on those first few lives to put a little bit of extra pressure on Edzy, maybe push him off of the, the aggressive econ game plan that he's been going for, force him to greed a little bit less. But at this stage in the run, in this stage in the match, it's too late for chips, quite frankly, to be able to match what Edzy's throwing up as he gets another death for his purple seal glass. It's going to make it really easy to just let those rip and not even really worry about it.
Yeah, something I love about just watching these MLB BA games is like you learn so much. Like before I even started casting at all, like I had no idea that like putting a glass card on a purple seal is something that you would do. It's like it's kind of unintuitive because why would you put a playing enhancement on something that you're gonna discard? But as we're seeing here, I mean the value is definitely showing. He's able to use it during the able to use a purple seal during the big and small blind, but then when it comes to the actual PvP, he has that there.
Exactly.
You can learn a lot just from watching these games.
No, even me, I've got 2,000 hours of experience on Balatro at this point. Even at this point, watching some of these matches and watching some of these players really go out of their way to min-max certain elements, I've learned a lot from this, and I'm one of the competitors myself, and have been since season 1. So it's like, yeah, it's there's a lot that you can gain from even if you don't play multiplayer yourself, you can gain a lot from watching people who are good at multiplayer do their thing, and that translates well into your own single player runs.
Exactly, yeah. How would you say since season 1, as like the game kind of evolved since then, what have you noticed that's been different from then to now?
The main thing is that the tempo plays in order to win the game. So early lives are valuable, but not as valuable as they used to be. People were a little bit slower at getting builds online in the first few seasons. Now people are really quick about it, doing things like managing even just the suit taros is a big eye-opening facet of deck building, just to maybe get those idle off hits quickly, to unlock flush house quickly so that you can get the big scores early. So those types of things, the speed at which you can get scoring online is a lot faster now than it used to be, especially with the addition of some of the multiplayer grinders like Vagabond, Bean, and Sizak.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, Neato taking once again $18 into this this final PvP. I don't think that there's anything to roll down for here at this point, just because the difference in build is, or the gap here is so wide. But just not even taking the opportunity to pick up some additional jokers here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in your last life, you might as well go all the way down unless you're sure you can survive, but it's
right.
It's not looking too bright.
In this spot, it can be a little bit more complicated than just like you're about to die, so spend down, just because you have 3 lives to take off of your opponent. You don't want to lose those other 2 lives just because you're trying to take 1 away at the end. But being as far behind as Neato is, I think it is just necessary in this spot to just roll down completely and pray.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier for us to say that while we're watching both sides of the screen.
Yeah, everything is a lot easier from both our perspectives as the commentators and the viewers' perspective, being able to see both things happening. When you're in the match, it's a very different thing. There might be some things on these players' minds that we're not considering, and there's also just generally a lot to manage when you're in the middle of a match, and you're not necessarily able to think every single aspect of the game through. But we do see that as this match is very likely getting decided here in this next PvP, the total spent really tells basically the entire story here. Edzy picking up that faceless joker early, committing to it, being able to, like we mentioned, spread the rerolls over the course of the shops so that he's able to see a lot of the shops and a lot of maybe the jokers that Neato wasn't, and that's where the joker difference came from, is that total spent.
And yep, exactly. Yeah, Edzy able to draw his flush house too, so it should be a wrap.
It does have one more piece of glass. Again, he doesn't know it, but probably doesn't need to dig for it too hard here. Instead, can just let it rip with the inconsistency of the bloodstone here, choosing to copy the photograph instead, guaranteeing an extra ×4 instead of a chance at maybe slightly better than that, just going for the consistent scoring instead of that. And I think that's a good read, just because you're ahead in scoring already. Just take your consistent points instead of looking for the high roll. If the jokers were the same in that position, maybe Neato would be needing to have that blueprint look at the bloodstone there, because she would be behind on flush house levels, or behind in scoring in general, so would need that high roll, whereas Edzy doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a very quick first set there, and they're deciding on another one right now. So
yeah,
see what
and
happens.
this is going to be a tough call from Neato's perspective, because a lot of times, I don't think that she is most comfortable in white stake, again, those late game value builds. But Edzy is, before he was a multiplayer grinder, he was a notorious gold stake grinder. So raising the stakes against Edzy is just, kind of bringing him home. He's very comfortable there. There's, not a whole lot of, in terms of the stake, advantages to gain over Edzy, given his experience across all difficulties in the game.
Interesting. I did not know that about Edzy. I guess. Yeah.
We're going to Zodiac deck, blue stake. I don't know that we've seen a blue stake choice here. Usually we go down to black stake because you get the benefit of some Eternal Jokers, which adds a bit of an uncomfortable wrinkle for some players. But you lose the discard, which feels which feels bad on blue stake, and that's one of those key difficulty upgrades in this game that you really feel when you're playing it, and a lot of players try to avoid it.
Yeah, and Edzy immediately taking the free shop. I forget the exact name of it. The free shop skip tag.
Yeah, the coupon tag here, which is generally not
tag,
a super high value skip, but on Zodiac deck, I actually don't dislike it here because, as we see, Overstock is an innate aspect of the Zodiac deck, so you do get that one extra shop slot. If the Jokers are a little bit better, Edzy would be very happy to be buying out that shop. They're not terrible, in that none of them were Eternals that you just have to skip on, but nothing that you're super excited about either, right? You have basically this Droll Joker for scoring and a little bit of extra econ from the To the Moon right now, and unlikely to get much other than sell value off of the Satellites and long-term the Sly Joker.
Exactly. How do you feel about the coupon tag not making the immediate idle? It's crazy. Sorry, I was gonna say, how do you feel about the coupon tag not making the voucher $0?
I think vouchers are so high value that would maybe be a little bit too much. You're basically getting, an investment tag early is $25. You're probably going to get more than $25 of value off of that, so it's probably for the best that's not included in the cost. Now Neato not rolling down, but taking the second shop as a result of not using the skip does also see the idol. Mm-hmm. So none of those uncommons were blocking into it, which is the good news. The bad news is, again, given her playstyle, I don't know that the idol is something that she wants to see right now, just because Edzy is so efficient in setting up that deck. I encountered this just yesterday when I was playing against Bean. I was praying to not see idol just because I knew that, and unfortunately, every seed had an idol, it seemed like, but just because I knew that, given his experience in setting up and building towards it, that was going to give Bean an advantage in the same way that it's likely to give Edzy an advantage here. The best thing that Neato could have seen here is maybe those junk Jokers that she has some experience putting to use in PvP, and not something super late game like an idol here.
Yeah, and she does decide to skip on it, so already a very huge divergence. I mean, it could honestly go her way. There is a chance that idol just doesn't hit as well, even with Edzy trying to manipulate the deck to the idol's power. Like, sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and that's one of the takebacks with taking on a idol. So it's going to be a very interesting one.
It is. It's not over for her just because she didn't take it, but I do think it puts her at a pretty big disadvantage. Like, I mentioned that I was disappointed to see an idol every time it showed up in my matches against Bean, but I still took it just because if I'm the one without the idol, I'm going to lose late game anyway. So like you have to take it even if it isn't what you were hoping for. And we see Edzy, even with the increased scoring requirements here, not quite to the purple stake extra scoring, but you do feel green stake a little bit, especially on Ante 2 here with no molt jokers, still just letting it ride and not being overly concerned about the scoring, allowing him to really greed for this, I guess, the satellite, and eventually find the resources to make the idol work.
Oh, and a sigil is pretty good here for idol. I mean, it does make a lot of your cards the same suit, which
I think
definitely
definitely does help, especially you've got 2 9s, 2 5s. That's a little bit of extra value, other than he did also have quite a few clubs in there, so I don't think that's making too much progress. Unfortunately, unable to pick up this this faceless joker, so would have much rather seen, I mean, it goes without saying, would have much rather seen an Immolate in there, so that faceless joker could come out to play. Left with a really difficult decision here with only 2 discards, and no real scoring, 2 discards. Wants that faceless joker value, but might be a little bit greedy because of the limited scoring right now over just the guaranteed $4 from the satellite.
Yeah, he does have a bit of a mountain to climb here, and I don't even know if that 7 of diamonds was changed. Oh no, you got it. He's good.
Yeah. The molt card with the blue seal, unfortunately having to pitch the blue seal. But since that's your only form of molt, you maybe have to do it. The moon card here, maybe an underrated aspect of the shop after just changing so many cards to clubs, being able to snag a few more, especially as this idol hit the clubs going into that first PvP, could just turn all of the 3s into clubs and play a 4 of a kind if he's able to draw him.
Yeah, definitely something you'd love to see right before the PvP. A suited tarot card that matches your idol. I mean, gives you a little bit more hope going into it.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was referring to earlier with the, the increased value that you're getting out of these suit-changing tarot cards. You're going to see an experienced player like Edzy, pick those up even in the small and big blind shops, or even after the post PvP shop, just to have them available and then wait to use them until once you see what the idol hits. That way you can make an informed decision, rather than using them mid-round to maybe shape your deck towards the idol proactively. You're using it reactively once you find out what the idol is on.
Yeah, for sure. That's something I definitely like to do, like reactively over proactive. I mean, it's feels more comfortable just going into the PvP knowing you have, as long as you are able to get your draws, which sometimes it doesn't happen. And in that case, if you don't get your draws, then you're fucked anyways. So
right, yeah. So I think there's maybe a tendency in single player where you have more time to build your entire deck towards one singular card. That time just is not available to you in a PvP match. So you have to be willing to be reactive here and use it for just an extra hit on even a ×2 here is going to be enough for Edzy to get use out of that, getting a flush house into the mix as well, and getting that flush house level with a couple of 3 of clubs to do the scoring. Choosing instead to get use of the molt card, just because, again, has no real concept of his opponent scoring at the moment.
Yeah, and that's a prime example of where turn order would have definitely helped Edzy there. I mean, if Neato already had played all her hands, then he would know that, oh, he can just greed for that blue seal. But he did not have that luxury there, unfortunately. So
yeah, that's just kind of a result of, again, simply not having any scoring beyond the idol right and the slide joker right now. The blackboard will help. This strength is another one of those, again, pieces that you can use reactively for the idol going into the PvP. Just like with the suit changer, you can wait to see what the idol hits. Now you're looking at the rank instead of the suit, and use that strength to make more of that specific card.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, in this case, maybe necessary for Edzy just to use that strength to get through the blinds, as we do see again. It's not gold stake scaling, but it's not white stake scaling either. So might need to get again, keep using this this molt card, as well as potentially keep using, or now use the blackboard in order to find some scoring that way. Early on, though, we are seeing a big difference between the last game and this one in money spent. Neato is a lot closer right now and has a lot more interest rolling in. There hasn't been a whole lot that Edzy's been finding in these shops other than that idol. But again, being down an idol, it almost doesn't matter how much extra money you have. If Edzy is able to make consistent and proper use of that idol, which I would be surprised if he isn't.
Yeah, exactly. She is going to need something coming up that Edzy won't be able to find, like you mentioned in the last PvP. She's going to need to roll down and, find something that he won't be able to. Hopefully get some tempo plays where idol doesn't hit for Edzy and get some lives through that. But yeah, it really all just depends.
And I mean, again, not to harp on it, but there is legitimate potential that Edzy just loses a life to a blind here and there. Not being able to find a single source of flat molt. The blackboard's nice, but some flat molt would be helpful here beyond just having to play that blue seal molt card over and over again. As we say that, though, it looks like Neato may be the one dropping to the blind as well. Does have that flat molt from the Droll Joker, but Droll Joker basically playing flushes with a blackboard is less than ideal, and we see Neato being the one here to drop another life to a blind. Just I don't think the idol changes that. I think the seed just has not been forthcoming with just like basic Balatro scoring pieces in the form of just both of these players just kind of desperately searching for flat mold at this stage.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle right now.
Yeah, that slide joker looking better and better as a pickup from Edzy. It's, even though it's on the left side of that equation, or in fact, because it's on the left side of that equation, that those 50 chips still get multiplied by 3 by the blackboard as well. So that's a kind of an underrated aspect of scoring is, the times molt hits your chips as well. So Edzy doing a good job of recognizing that and pointing it to good use here, trying to decide if he's able to greed this gold seal at the moment. Does go for it. Could be punished if he had hit any red card that wasn't a 3 or a 9 here.
Yeah.
But does fortunately pick it up. Should have plenty of scoring here. Gets some extra blue seal value, which, full house, not necessarily the hand he's looking for, but, just desperate for any source of molt in the game at this point, and getting, another +2 molt on the full house levels is going to be helpful here.
Yeah, and he's been, I guess he's kind of somewhat relying on that. I mean, he's already had a level on there from before as well. So, you gotta play into what the game gives you if you want to survive.
Yeah, that we kind of, I think the satellite maybe pushed Edzy to pick up that. Mime not ideal, but is probably still a necessary pickup here, especially with that that raised fist pickup. Mime does retrigger the raised fist, so you can get some decent big blind, small blind scoring from that. Really solving the problem of that missing flat molt that we were talking about, but does have to figure out what can part ways, because you still need chips from that that slide joker. If you're playing high card, you still want the extra value from that satellite, since there's no money to be had here. But choosing to, again, continue to be greedy here, and when you're up 4 lives to 2, you can make those types of plays.
Exactly, yeah. He has that leeway, and yeah, just going into the PvP with $3, spending all he could.
Yeah, we do see Neato with the mime as well, but not picking up that that raised fist, which is just honestly, even before the mime, is better than the droll joker here in more than half of your draws, right? And that's really how you want to evaluate the raised fist. Not to mention the fact that you can manipulate your draws, and you want to manipulate your hands with the blackboard anyway. So I think, again, this is something that we've been seeing from Neato. In a lot of these early matches is an unwillingness to part ways with certain jokers, even when a better option presents itself. And so, like, droll joker, just because you pick it up early, even if you get a few flush levels, doesn't mean you're committed to keeping that that droll joker. The fact that she's had it is a big part of how she dropped that life earlier, because you're not always drawing your flushes, and especially when you have a blackboard, you're not going to reliably draw your flushes. So it's just, you need to be willing to get out of that type of joker when a better option presents itself, and probably going to lose another life here because this blackboard is not active. That's blackboard with it on a flush game plan is just really difficult to manage, especially at this stage in the run.
Yeah, I mean, blackboard with any hand that takes like 5 cards, I mean, you don't have the luxury of like playing a pair and able to pick up those one-off diamond or heart cards that are gonna disable blackboard. You're kind of just forced to play the flush and hope that your draws are like near perfect for blackboard, and it's clearly not been working out. I mean,
and that's where it's possible that Raised Fist was in this buffoon pack, and that's why it was missed. But if it was in the shop, that's just with the blackboard already. That's telling you need to get out of this raised fist, or get out of this droll joker, and a Raised Fist would be a much better and more easily managed piece than droll joker right now, on top of just like baseline providing more molt than it does. Okay, so it was in the buffoon pack from Edzy, and so it wasn't that it was skipped, it just wasn't available for Neato here, which is maybe unfortunate timing. That just, if it had been in the small blind shop, I think we'd be looking at 2 lives still in play here. But in general, this has been a very difficult to manage early game seed. Yes, it has an idol. Yes, it has a mime. But those jokers really aren't doing much right now, because you're spending so much money just trying to play enough hands to get through the blinds that you don't have the luxury that we did on White Stake of fixing your deck like Edzy was able to last round.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, this one's actually going to be an interesting one. I'm not sure who's going to take this round.
I do think this one will be close. We see Edzy already missing on like the blackboard plus the raised fist. Also now in a very unfortunate situation where he chose early to strengthen that ace into a 2. That 2 as a blue seal plays horrifically with the raised fist, and just like can't can't get anything going as a result of that. Also missing so far all of the potential idle hits here. I think this is, if Neato is able to manage the draws here. Again, really tunneling in on that flush still, but that 10 extra molt may be enough to justify it. If she draws a club or a spade by playing this 6, could get rewarded, and I think in general just is in a position to potentially take a life of Edzy here, who has just unfortunately not drawn the hand that is necessary. Missing out on that blackboard on the first hand is a little punishing. And Neato going for the flush, hits it, and is going to get a life off of Edzy here. This is much needed. And doesn't even need to risk glass. Gets the glass spent, though, so it's ready to go for next ante. What we really want to see from Neato right now is moving away from that Droll Joker is a trap. We need to just focus. We've got chips from the foil. That's a huge deal. I think the best possible scenario for Neato right now is that this turns into a high card seed from the idol. There doesn't even have to be a Baron for that to be useful. Just get some steal established, use that with the raised fist, and she has a legitimate chance of pushing Edzy off of this idol and potentially winning the game.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, that is, her best chance going high card seed. Going for the forcing high card, you can really enable blackboard with that as well.
And
she just needs to get
unfortunately she's tunneling in way too hard on this on these flushes right now. These flushes just simply are not doing anything. It's going to do, like, I would expect the score to be higher off of this this pair right now, even without the extra molt from the look at that. Like, that needs to be a wake-up call that the flush is just not worth playing towards. This Temperance plus the Fool is going to give you some extra rolling to work with. Just, if we see a pivot to high card from Neato, this could legitimately be a match-winning play. She just needs to be able to see it. And in order to see it, she's got to recognize that flushes are just not worth it.
Yeah. I am liking that she's spending a lot more this time, something we did not see last match.
Picking up those high card levels is important too. I mean, this Droll Joker could just go for the judgment. We've got the Faceless Joker as a result of having some extra, and again, just valuing that Droll way more. Yeah. In your typical Balatro run, at this stage in the run, Droll Joker shouldn't be doing very much for you. And that's especially the case right now, as we see this high card is just going to, body any flush that she's able to play.
Yeah, and I think she's realizing that now. I'm almost certain before we go into the PvP, she'll replace it. Because, she's only playing high cards here. Or I guess now she's going to play a flush, but...
Right, she's playing the high cards to, get the raised fist and the blackboard online. But, like, if you just look at the numbers here, this one, does do a little bit more because the blackboard's active. But, I mean, even if you can get some steal established, even that Troubadour is looking good. Like, there's a lot to be done with this Mime and raised fist if you're just willing to commit to, playing towards high cards.
Yeah. She does get the steal here in this pack.
Yep, and that's going to be very important. You want to put that on basically, ideally a king, but you want to put it on a higher card. An ace is fine too, because you can move your lower cards. You want it to be on a rank that you can move your lower cards ahead of, so that the raised fist can go off first, and then that steal hits. So you can get a little bit of extra value off of that. That's maybe something that's not as intuitive in Balatro as many other things are, but is a way that you can eke out some extra scoring.
Yep. And Idol hits Ace of Clubs, which he does have 3 of. So that's...
There are 3 of them. Unfortunately, had 5 at one point, but strengthened a couple of aces
Oh, yeah.
early. I think Edzy here, seeing the Pluto in the shop, may be considering his own shift towards high card, and this rebate, I don't think it was seen on Neato's side. I think we're already a shop deeper for Edzy here, able to get that mail-in rebate and catch back up in total spent, because we do see that that Neato has surpassed Edzy this run.
Yeah, that mail-in rebate is huge. I mean,
yes,
that's probably like one of the best econ jokers you could find, and that's gonna really, really help him. And the fact that Neato doesn't have it is gonna... I mean, we'll see if she survives this.
Yeah, this is
PvP.
Every PvP is very, very critical for Neato right now because of those early lives lost. We do see early steal advantage for Neato if this ends up being that high card seed. She's got the chips on the mime, which is going to be chips are a big hurdle to get over when you're playing a high card seed early. She's got that to her advantage. She's also got steal to her advantage. So again, best possible scenario here is that this does end up being a high card seed, as we see the world's longest straight flush here. But again, Neato tunneling in a little too hard on those flushes. Because that 10 bolt at this stage is still relevant, that could matter if Edzy doesn't draw the the idle cards that he's looking for. But long term, this play is just not going to work. It's only the longer this goes on, Edzy has 3 more lives to give. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is that idle really makes a big difference.
Yeah, and let's see if she can remember to put the steal card after her lowest card so she could capitalize a little bit more.
That's not something that is always taken into consideration and isn't here as well. We've seen this quite a few times, in fact, in Major League Balatro still. And again, I think this is not necessarily a result of lack of knowledge, but maybe just continued tunneling in on that Droll Joker.
Yeah, exactly. And now she's, looking for that flush, but doesn't get it and it's not going to play it because of the 4 of diamonds.
And Edzy, unfortunately, only picking up 1 ace of clubs here. The only hand that makes sense to play is a flush, which turns off the blackboard, which means just due to the draws and the decision, I think, to go blue stake, which I believe was Edzy's choice, is going to be, presenting problems for getting this idol online. I think just choosing to potentially give up the life here.
He did have the moon card too, which he decided not to use. I mean, he could have.
Yeah, but I do think that
he probably felt like it wasn't enough. Yeah.
Right. It's not enough. That moon, as we talked about early, is a potential tool that can be used in the PvP later when the idol hits or when you draw your idol cards. One difference here that's maybe going to come to hinder Neato, especially if she is looking for that Baron to turn this into a high card seed. She did take Tarot Tycoon, which is going to give her more access to tarots, but really she probably wants to find jokers right now to separate her score from what Edzy's got going. And we can already see Edzy planning for that idol, picking up the lovers, considering the sun, hanging onto that moon, just really having as many tools at his disposal as possible going into that final PvP blind to try and take that last life off of Neato here. And those are all going to be very helpful in making that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know you have an idle run on your hands when you're just consistently picking up these suited cards,
Right.
hoping for the best.
Yeah, and that wild card, I like the spend there. It does work with the blackboard as well, so you know, getting decent value off of it while still giving yourself the opportunity to find another one in the shop to maybe make that idle pickup easier. You do have the extra slots, but you don't have infinite consumable slots, so getting that spent so that you can pick up maybe a death, a fool, whatever shows itself in the shop is going to be important.
And Neato finally selling out of that Droll Joker, used it for a judgment and got the rocket. Probably not exactly what she was looking for.
You know what? It's a play I was advocating for last round. I would have liked to see it last round, but I'm happy to see it here. Again, committing to what you have as your advantage, which right now is that mime raised fist. You know, hopefully we can start making some steel. Hopefully we can start, you know, really fixating on that high card with the blackboard rather than trying to make that 5-card hand happen with blackboard, which is just a disaster to try and do.
Yeah.
And we see
those pass on the devil there, which you know, with mime, people don't realize that's just extra $6 could have definitely helped there too.
Right, especially a free $6. Just maybe the result of not picking up that that crystal ball that we saw from Edzy early, just so that I think with an extra tarot slot, that's an easy pickup here. But you know, crystal ball, maybe one of those, typically you want to save vouchers for the end unless you're going to get immediate impact from them by picking them up mid-round. That gives you more time to accumulate interest, to see shops, to make a more informed decision. But because you can get that immediate value from crystal ball by taking more tarots into your rounds with you, it is one of those few vouchers that is a more immediate pickup.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And even without the Droll Joker, though, we do see Neato fixating on that flush a little bit. Does have a more fully fixed deck towards the blackboard, so it is going to be possible. But we're still sitting on a level 1 flush, so the incentive to play flushes is still pretty low, even if you can get the blackboard online. So again, just. We really want to be looking for steal. I mean, she's managing her money very well right now. Just needs to leverage that into something, you know, strong enough to continue applying pressure to Edzy. She's been taking lives off of Edzy, but part of that is that the idol is just not cooperating for him right now. So, Edzy making a little bit upset with that same. That same decision to rip the judgment, but it does make sense to even though you're done with your discards, loses a life. This is huge. Oh no.
Yeah, I think he knew he was gonna lose a life and just decided to throw that judgment as a Hail Mary, and seeing the rocket like a way even worse econ Joker is like, that's just tough to see for sure. And we are down to a final PvP. Wow, this is going to be a very interesting one.
This turned around quickly. We've got more. I think we've got more consistent scoring off of Neato's side, largely as a result of that mime beam foil is a big deal, because that makes the basically any hand that considers both the raised fist and the blackboard a reliable scoring hand. Edzy hits 5 of clubs with the moon in tow, but does only have 4 total 5s in the deck. Is really going to want to find strengths, is really going to want to find deaths, but even then, in a 55 card deck, might be a challenge to hit any 5s, let alone the 5s that you need in order to make that flush house that he's got highly leveled. Glass is going to help though and benefit Edzy a lot more.
Yeah, and a last second fool as well.
Yeah.
Yes, probably a double glass there.
Probably a double glass. Now the problem is, this is really Edzy did make up some of the ground as a result of getting that ice cream. I think that's probably going to give a slight advantage towards Edzy here. Just even those throwaway hands that he has are now going to outpace what Neato has, unless she finds something with this extra, $50 or so in favor of that rocket. Also has an extra shop to go. This extra money that she's been generating could put her ahead going into this PvP and on those throwaway hands. Now the problem is, if Edzy hits on these idle hands, on these idle cards, that's going to shift the advantage way back into his favor. So it's going to depend on how many fives he hits and if he's able to make that flush house. Because one good hand from Edzy will be able to easily beat, several okay hands from Neato if she isn't able to pick up another Joker here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely need something to replace that $1 rocket.
Yeah, does have two spots too, because also, if she gets an alert when Edzy loses a life, if she's paying attention, she's gonna know that there's only one life left on Edzy's side. So, could get rid of the faceless Joker as well, which has been the thing that's supplying her with all of this extra money right now. Again, still tunneling in on those flushes, choosing to hang the red cards, but not consider. Again, you have to consider this raised fist here. That is arguably your most important Joker. You have to play a high card here. You have to get that blackboard enabled.
Yeah,
and this straight is just not going to do it. The blackboard needs to be involved here. So it's got to be high card, and it's needed to be high card, quite frankly, for a little bit now. I think the high card will get there, just again because of those 50 chips from the mine. But there's no reason to play this straight right now. Okay, she sees it.
Mm-hmm. She's listening in.
I do like this play. Just, you know what? All hands on deck. Why are we keeping the 4, though? Get the 4 out of here.
Ooh.
Okay, I think it's still probably enough. It is not. And actually,
no.
I mean, it's another, 8 molts? Times 3, 24 molts? Is the difference off of that... But that 6, it may not have even been enough, even with that 6 involved. But I mean, that takes all of the pressure off of Edzy's draws and Edzy's idle.
Yeah.
I do think that with the tools available to Edzy right now, probably still had a bit of an advantage going into that final PvP. I think was just getting a little bit unlucky the previous 2 rounds. But Neato not giving herself the chance to take that final life. Again, maybe tunneling in a little bit too hard on some of those early flush hands that were no longer necessary there, and just maybe fixating on that a little too much.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, losing a lot of lives were lost during this PvP, so I mean, it happens to everyone. And as a result of it, she ended up losing. I mean, I was hyped for a final one. I love when it's these matches go to 1 life each, and it's a final PvP. Those ones always get you on the edge of your seat. And we have one more game coming up. Let's see what they select. How does the selection process go? Is it just one person after like the original game? Is it just one person picks deck and the other person picks stake?
Yeah. So after every match, the person who loses the previous round gets to choose the first aspect, and after and then the other person chooses the second aspect. So Neato here can choose the deck, and then Edzy will be able to pick the stake. if she would have won that, it would have been the opposite order. She can also pick the stake. Basically, she gets the first choice of either deck or stake. The other person, gets to choose the other aspect of that. So with priority always going to the person who lost the most recent match.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, and we're going yellow-white stake.
Okay. Just vanilla Balatro. So early game money is going to be very abundant here. We're going to see some maybe a lot less struggling to find those early game scoring pieces here. Even a Shoot the Moon, just a perfectly acceptable joker at this point.
Yeah.
And Buffoon Pack, not really having much, but again, you have to open it because of the way that packs are queued. If you miss out on it, before you open it, you have no idea that it's a couple of less than stellar jokers. So you just have to open it in case it's something good.
Exactly, yep. And finding a red seal already.
Yeah, on a 9, not the best hit, but like this stage in the run with the extra money that you get off a yellow deck, not terrible. And we do see Neato passing on the both the Temperance and the early Shoot the Moon. Shoot the Moon can be some reliable molt, but we've moved back to white stake here. We're no longer getting that extra blind scaling. So you can get away with, the type of play that we saw Edzy make last round, where he was scrambling a bit with just the slide joker. You can cruise with the crafty joker for a bit, and the important thing to get here is absolutely this Midas Mask. This Midas Mask sets up your deck so well so that you can find an early golden tickets and really start farming that. So if Neato just finds an acceptable molt joker here, she's going to be at parity with Edzy's Shoot the Moon, because Shoot the Moon is nothing. It gets you out of the blinds, but beyond that, it's not meaningful long term.
Yeah.
Having a tough call. I watched Edzy a lot and got a little punished in a practice match yesterday for not taking an aura, so no surprise to see the aura snag here. Even though maybe a less than stellar hit on that foil, still, just for the 1 in 6 chance that it's polychrome, you have to take it, because if your opponent gets polychrome and you don't, if this game goes late, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that aura card just always feels like it's gonna give you foil. Sometimes you just don't even want to go through that. So I understand that, but yeah, you gotta account for what your opponent could get a lot of the times and how you don't want to be behind.
Yeah, that 8-ball paying off already. Unfortunately, we might be getting baited by this Droll Joker a second time. It does pair a little bit better with the Crafty here. But this 8-ball, a reluctant pickup from Neato, it seemed. But even I am willing to admit that this 8-ball looks pretty good here. It's a foil Joker. It's early enough on yellow deck white stake that you can make use of it. So, it maybe not the most reliable Joker, but an acceptable one, as we do see Edzy really taking the time to figure out, can I get as much Midas Mask value as possible off of these? And does go for it. I think this with the Sly Joker is just enough. So, good read from Edzy here. Is behind on Econ, though, as a result of Neato passing on some of those early Jokers. like that shoot the moon, which again, not a long-term option, going to be able to make better use of this to the moon, I think is in a slightly better spot in terms of money right now, but maybe a little bit behind just in terms of generating gold cards from this Midas Mask. So Edzy might be able to narrow that gap as the game goes on. But you know, it'll depend on what jokers come in what order, because really the reason why it's you want to get quick use out of this Midas Mask is the sooner all your face cards are gold, the sooner you can sell out of it and replace it with something that's, you know, providing additional value generation or you know, helping out with your score a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You want to, exactly what you said. Yeah, you want to get in that Midas Mask, turn all your cards to gold, and get out of it ASAP. Because
critically,
after
though,
that, then there's really no point.
Do you think that Edzy skipped on the 8-ball just as a result of not having the extra money that that Neato has from those early game Joker decisions? So potentially going to be behind on deck building as a result. You know, already, again, a little bit behind in money with the potential to get further behind, or with the potential to regain that over the course of the run. But this early PvP is looking Neato favored right now. Edzy checking the deck. I think there's maybe like 6-ish more face cards to go. No, 3. That's why I don't count. See Edzy again rolling deep in the shop. Looking for
pick up a purple seal.
Yeah, look.
Which is a little more guaranteed than 8-ball, as long as you're able to draw it.
Right. On white stake is
that time.
On white stake is a little bit more reliable than an 8-ball. You do have that extra discard still, so oh, this is a big difference though. That's not going to help with the purple seal right now. But first of all, we see one singular king needs to be hit with this Midas Mask. And the trading card coming into play early for Edzy. And this photograph is huge too. Oh my, that's another situation where, again, able to just get out of the Midas Mask, even though there are 2 jokers doing nothing right now, because the deck is set up for the gold cards already. So, you know, holding on to that Midas Mask for 1 additional gold card is probably not worth, and you can get this juggler as well. And again, you know, Edzy missing the 8-ball, but probably getting the more critical piece in that photograph. 1/2 of the photo chad combo already in tow. We might have our first photo chad build of the match, which is curious because I've been told that it is every single match in all of Major League Balatro.
Yeah.
Is it possible that people are exaggerating Balatros?
No, what?
On the internet?
Come on.
Yeah, on the internet? No, that would never happen.
Exactly.
Now, one thing that we do see is Edzy with that shoot the moon, maybe going to be in a decent position to be able to hold a lot of these gold cards, and that's where, again, we're going to see an advantage over something like the Crafty and the Droll Joker, where you need to play those 5-card hands, versus just playing flushes. You're going to get better payouts from these gold cards. The one limiting factor right now for Edzy is there's just no chips unless you're playing a pair as well. I do think this pair of kings will probably cover the score, and you still get quite a few gold cards in hand, especially when you consider that juggler as well. So I think, you know, Edzy's still in a good spot to both score more and make a lot of money here, as a result of that early decision to go shoot the moon, even if you know, probably wants to find a way to get out of that shoot the moon as early as possible.
And he knows he only needs about 300 points, so he can greed max here, which is lovely to see. That's what having turn order does for you. Forces your opponent to go first, so they can, so you can make the decision based off of that.
Right. That's a combination of turn order and just, you know, if you draw the queens, you get reliable, hand after hand scoring from the shoot the moon. You can kind of just eyeball it pretty easily.
And we do come across an invis, but there isn't really much on Neato's side to even duplicate there.
No.
But I mean, you do want to pick it up.
Yeah. You can pick it up and you can hold it. But when that comes back around for Edzy, as we see here, that can be a very easy isolation point for the photograph if Hanging Chad comes around, which, you know, it's a common joker. It's likely to happen. So that's a really big deal. Choosing to part ways with the trading card, really valuing that hand size, and honestly deciding that maybe he still needs the chips from the Sly Joker as well.
Yeah, for sure. And
a little surprised there. I would have expected a little bit more greed out of Edzy there, given his previous plays, especially since, you know, we're what, ante 3 on white stake right now. You don't need that much scoring to make this happen.
What did he give up for the invis?
No, gave up the trading card for it, but immediately proving me wrong and showing just how little a high card will do with Shoot the Moon until, like, you know, without that 20 molt. It's really demonstrating just how much that that Sly Joker is doing for Edzy right now. And that juggler, on top of allowing him to draw hands more reliably, is also providing more money because of these gold cards being in hand.
Exactly, yeah.
So without levels in Pluto and without, you know, a reliable chip joker beyond this this Sly, you just big celebration, it looks like, from Edzy off of that strength. That strength.
Yeah.
So you start with 4 of each face card. This can allow him to either get 4 additional face cards from the 10s, which gives you 8 jacks, or go from 4 of each face card to maybe 8 kings and 4 jacks. So either way, you're going to, one of those ranks, you're going to be drawing a lot more reliably as a result of getting this double strength available.
Yeah, and we see Neato come across the Chad in her next shop. So
that is catastrophic news for Neato, because, you know, we can see that Edzy's already surpassed her in the total spent. He is going to find that Hanging Chad, which means he's going to be able to isolate the invisible joker on the photograph and still pick up that Hanging Chad and just be so unbelievably far ahead. And now we see exactly why Edzy was celebrating so much. I had already forgotten. There was a red seal on that 9. That strength means it's now a jack. It's ready for that that photo Chad combo. This is just catastrophically bad for Neato. And just, again, we've talked about it the first 2 games, just not rolling down super aggressively in those final shops before the PvP, and missing out on, in this case, the photo, but, you know, it's been other jokers in the past.
Yeah, and that invis, get ready in the nick of time. All he has to do is re-roll and find it, and we shall see the jokers get sold.
Yeah, and suddenly chips and flat mold just become completely irrelevant, especially with that red seal jack. That red seal jack is, I mean, even before the Chad shows up, just immediately isolating the photograph because, like, the other jokers are trash. So why would you keep them? Didn't even know it was coming, but immediately gets rewarded, picks up a purple. Just another very, very commanding position from Edzy here. And just, again, largely a result of that total spent difference coming into play here. Making good use of the Midas Mask, taking the time early, allowing himself to get behind early, in order to use that Midas Mask and farm those gold cards.
Yeah, and Neato only coming in with a plus 15 mult. I think she knows she's not gonna do too well. I mean, just looking at it from our point of view, it's looking pretty grim. And
Yeah,
he
I think
picks up another strength just to be able to most likely match that queen, that jack, to the rest of his queens that he's already been,
yep,
I think, building around.
Yeah, and even if not, I mean, another 10 already in tow, has the Sun card as well to make some hearts. The bad news, the real bad news for Neato is even if the photograph does come around, Edzy still has the advantage because you'd rather have 2 photos, 1 Chad than 2 Chads, 1 photo. That's why you want to point your blueprint, for the same reason you want to point your blueprint at photo rather than Chad, is the same reason that Edzy will have an advantage even if the photograph shows up. So once again, Neato in a position where she needs to be able to find a Joker that Edzy doesn't, and the way that Edzy has been managing his econ this entire match, that's going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah, and if I'm Neato here, I'm not playing my gold cards, and I'm just playing all the hands that I know are, because I know I'm not going to win this. I'm just trying to play as fast as I can so Edzy doesn't get the opportunity to farm off of his deck, like getting that purple seal there or more gold cards.
Yeah, that's
definitely a strategy you want to take into consideration.
It's an underrated aspect for sure. That you know, you don't know, you saw the Midas Mask, right? You saw you saw the Hanging Chad. You know that there's ways to generate value on this seed, including a random polychrome, which surely means something here. It doesn't actually. But you know, Edzy queuing up a hand doesn't need to throw it just because, but he doesn't know that just because he's so far ahead of Neato right now. But does miss out on some potential value off of those lucky cards.
Yeah, Neato playing 3 gold cards in her final hand, knowing it's not going to win. I mean, that's just something you don't want to do. I mean, you just missed out on $9 there.
$9, and again, especially if you're coming from behind, you need to eke out as much money from these, not only these small and the big blinds, but if you're already losing the PvP blinds as well. So again, $68 for Neato here versus 23 from Edzy. There needs to be something in this, maybe 2 somethings in this exact ante in order for her to get back into this. She probably needs to find, like, first of all, she needs to catch up on the photograph, then needs to find an additional piece to get back ahead because, again, baseline right now, you'd rather have 2 photos than than 2 Hanging Chads.
Exactly, yeah. Going the Scholar Chad build right now.
I mean, you know, it is still white stake. That Banana's doing a decent amount of scoring, but it's not here forever.
Yeah.
You know, you do still have to beat the blinds, not just Edzy. So that Scholar may come into play at certain points here. Again, we do see Neato maybe fixating a little much on the flush early on. It's not a bad hand in terms of its scaling, but as soon as you see that that Hanging Chad, something like a 4 of a kind, is looking a little bit more appealing to me, at least.
For sure. And we see Neato pass up on the Obelisk. I think that's one of the most polarizing Jokers I've seen in MLB. I've seen people absolutely hate on it and people absolutely love it. What is your stance on taking an Obelisk? Obviously, it matters on the context, but generally.
Yeah. In this context, I think it's a really bad looking Obelisk. You've given up a lot of random hands just to make the Midas Mask work. When you want it is when you've had very consistent scoring hands over the first few antes and there's just nothing else multiplicative over the course of the game. Neither of those scenarios is true here. We see that, or at least for Edzy, right? No matter how big you get that Obelisk, it's not going to match the double photo Chad. And from Neato's perspective, it's just because the hands have been a little bit all over the place as a result of, again, getting that Midas Mask established, getting value off of the Midas Mask. You don't have much space to make it work. The seeds where it makes sense are seeds where, quite frankly, there aren't better options for it, or if you're just looking to beat Gold Stake.
Yeah. Well said. Fair enough. Me personally, even if it does suit the run for me, I would just skip over. I just hate having to deal with the obelisk. Too much thinking.
Yeah, if you set it up properly, there's actually no thinking involved at all, right? You set it up for pairs. The thinking is don't play two of the same rank without making a better hand. But in multiplayer specifically, you're balancing a lot of other difficult decisions. So maybe in addition to, you just have a lot of throwaway hands that you need to make use of to eke out value in a multiplayer, and we see Neato maybe getting rewarded for those flush levels with the Ancient Joker coming into play, but that's not the missing piece that she needs in order to separate herself from Edzy right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Edzy's looking at that Ancient Joker right now, about to pick it up for that Egg Joker.
Right, yeah, exactly. There's nothing stopping Edzy from also getting this this Ancient Joker right now. Also, with plenty of purple in the deck, maybe can start considering a shift towards wild cards after favoring hearts for quite a while now. Getting some wild cards into the mix can make that Ancient Joker a lot less tragic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because with Ancient Joker, you ideally want all of your suits to be equal in the amount that you have, because it's always random and and you want to give yourself the best chance.
Exactly, and we see Edzy already picking up that early Lovers card, making a play towards Wilds. I wouldn't be surprised to see that land on the the red seal. Yeah. As we see the golden ticket that we discussed early coming into play.
Yeah.
That is, I will say, that is one thing that does advantage the double Chad versus the double photo. So this is a way that Neato can maybe get back into this. Another way is some extra glass. The double Chad favors the glass. So it's not over. There are some openings here, especially if Neato spends this $50 to roll down a little bit deeper into the shops and find that golden ticket as well.
Yeah, exactly. She absolutely needs to find that to try to come back in any sort of shape or...
Yeah, that is... we've seen her decline to roll down even just the interest cap in some cases, let alone beyond it. So we do need to see her roll a little bit more than she has been in order to find that. And, turning some gold into glass, I don't dislike that just because you didn't see the golden ticket yet, but I mean, you have to know that this is the pickup. And I think the Faceless has a little bit more potential here with that double hanging Chad than the Scholar right now.
Scholar, yeah.
Just because your face cards want to go on that hanging Chad spot anyway for the golden ticket, and your molt is already taken care of with that Ancient Joker.
Yep. Right. She does get rid of that scary face, maybe a bit too scary.
Yeah, it does. I think chat's probably relieved because it does freak them out a little bit. So maybe making a play towards chat here. Especially with that golden ticket pickup, though, I would like to see Neato roll down at least once more here, because you're going to make that money back with like one gold card, right? So
exactly, yeah.
So there's no real damage that you're doing in terms of your long-term econ by taking an additional roll here. Chooses not to. Again, those are those rolls that matter, because those are the rolls that get her beyond Edzy, and those need to start happening in order to find a piece that Edzy doesn't.
Yeah, they appeared to be in the same spot in the shop, and that would have possibly given her the advantage especially knowing that Edzy isn't rolling anymore. But obviously, you don't know how deep he rolled anyway, so it's not like that really matters. But
right,
yeah,
but
you still want to do that.
But basically, you're looking. Yes, interest is nice. It's less important in PvPs, but it's especially less important when Golden Ticket essentially gives you permission to just roll down to 0, because
yeah,
you play any gold cards and you're just back up to the interest cap anyway. So, you need to take advantage of that fact and roll aggressively so that you can find some additional pieces here. Because what if there's a blueprint behind there? Then you're getting even more money off of that. What if there's that missing photograph that you're looking for? Then your scoring is a little bit more reliable here. So there's so many reasons to roll now that you have the golden ticket. We see Edzy almost just ignoring the Ancient Joker right now, but has that luxury simply because of the double photograph already in play, that you're just getting so much score off of that, and you're so far ahead that like things like glass, things like maybe this lover's card, or even, I guess in his mind, the chariot are just gonna get better value than trying to dig for spades, which you don't have a whole lot of anyway.
Yeah, and he's not even gonna have to risk, or I think he's not even gonna have to risk. Oh no, yeah, he's gonna have to play that. But he probably won't. He probably knows he doesn't have to risk the glass here, and he could still probably greed by putting the Chad, the gold card first, which he is doing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to risk the glass, doesn't have to even care about scoring, and just able to breeze right by as a result of, again, those deep rolls in previous antes, allowing him to find that photograph. Strength, again, going to help Edzy make these ambitious hands that he's building towards, but Death going to do an even better job. I don't know that there's the red seal on Neato's side that Edzy has, and that's with the photo chat available. That's just yet another resource that that Edzy has. That, again, we talked about how Neato can gain ground with glass in order to offset the being behind, even if she does find the photo. But that red seal kind of moves the needle back towards Edzy because, getting an extra trigger on the photograph, also helps significantly with the scoring.
Yeah, she only does have one red seal that is a 5, so not like a face card how Edzy also has it. He also has the 5 as well.
Okay, choosing to use the strength because there's nothing worth deathing to get, even just to get that fool back. That's how you know it's a bad death target. Not a single face card in the mix. I think we see any gold card, any face card. Edzy is happily deathing that just to get it back with the fool, but there's just nothing there. That was that was one of the most horrific death offerings I think I've seen for somebody who has a pretty well fixed deck at this point.
Yeah.
And what we need to see from Neato here is really, really consistent and intentional use of this golden ticket farming. We need to make use of the double Chad to get extra money off of this, so that we can close that that money gap a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she just has an absolute mountain to climb if she wants to come back, and she needs to start from right now.
And at the end, in the back of your mind this whole time, you're going to know, well, Edzy probably saw the Chad the Chad golden ticket as well. So I know he's going to be making good use of it. I'd better, take the time necessary to do it. And, as I say that, Edzy just kind of queuing up a hand to just aggressively throw here before farming it out. So maybe a little bit of impatience, maybe call it laziness on Edzy's side. Yeah. This is something that he knows better than this, so a bit of a surprise to see.
Yeah, I had at least like another hand to agree with, but
and $9 just from playing a single high card there. Maybe the concern actually is that even with double photo, a single high card just wins, and then you actually end up losing out on money. But even on Neato's side, we don't have that concern and not fully farming it. So maybe that maybe that double photograph being a bit of a disadvantage for Edzy right now in terms of the money farm.
Yeah, and Neato opening up the spectral pack to a Wraith, which could have been something, but obviously not gonna spend $41 on a Joker.
Even with a golden ticket, $41 on a rare Joker is not worth. We see Edzy also put in a similar circumstance. You can't really. You need to see you want to see what's in this pack before you buy this idol, so you can't really roll down from Edzy's perspective. Neato not quite in the same spot, but I'm often very guilty of not considering the Wraith in my rolls when a Spectral is on offer.
No. Oh,
yeah, and
no.
we're getting out of the golden ticket. The Scholar is just
that Scholar had to go. Yeah,
right. It is just once again baiting Neato here. Edzy getting out of the Ancient Joker. I do like this play. Has again shown reliable scoring over the Ancient Joker without putting it to use. So why not play towards the idol, which is first of all more score, and given how many hearts that he's built towards, potentially just more reliable than the 1 in 3 on the Ancient Joker.
Exactly. And she does take the skip tag because it is on Queen of Hearts. I'm not sure how many Queen of Hearts she has, but must have been enough for her to take the skip tag there.
Yeah, and Edzy getting the news now, seeing the timer pop up, is going to looks like mathing out the high card with the double photo. So it is again indicating that not playing it previously because of just simply concern of winning too quickly. Again, I forget how white stake scaling works sometimes, so just not considering how strong Edzy is right now compared to the blinds as he picks up a glass for the red seal. Okay. Can this high card get there?
Yeah, let's see. Good little litmus test here. Oh, and it's not even close. If this match does go past this PvP, I do have to go over to the Nemo versus Gothic one, so I will be leaving you after this PvP most likely.
Either way, after this PvP, I think you'll probably need to shift over, but yeah. I do think that maybe it's just going to depend on what this idol hits, but even then, Edzy has a lot of tools at his disposal to make up ground even if the idol misses. Queen of Clubs on Edzy's side, so going to want to trade that Stars card for a Moon and maybe find a Strength for those Jacks could be beneficial as well, and has pretty much all the money in the world to make that happen, in addition to just searching for other Jokers. Could turn some more of these jacks into hearts just for the future. Especially because you can bring it into the Arcana pack with you or the Spectral pack.
Yeah, and he finds a strength too.
Yeah, huge strength for that wild jack. Might, put him at, only going to do it once here just because of the future considerations, right? If this game goes beyond this next PvP, you're going to want to have as many jacks as possible to... There's the strength, though. If Edzy can find a single copy of the Moon card and Jack of Clubs with a red seal on it, my God, this is I don't know if Neato can survive this here.
Yeah.
Limited time. I would like to see some rolls from Edzy here. You have the golden ticket. It is the last life. What are you saving this money for? There we go. Yeah, it's nothing showing up for him, but it's still worth checking. So unless we're just I think that single red seal for Edzy, if he's able to find it, especially with glass up top, some strengths up top to help, fill in the pieces, and that even that chariot's going to put in some work. I don't know that there's a number of Queen of Hearts that Neato can hit that will allow her to win from here.
Yeah, and she finds 3 already with a death.
Yeah, I mean...
Could just come down to the draws here.
Going to put up as much score as possible, but on Edzy's side, already finding that that red... or one of the red seals. Is it possible there's a second one? Or was he looking at full deck there? Does get another... Jack, this one wild that can be strengthened. And Neato not quite finding that, that 4th queen. I do like Edzy parting ways with the steel. You just need to see as many cards in your deck as possible. The steel helps, but 2.25 is not likely to be the difference maker here. Edzy just having a hard time finding these queens. And same with Neato though. Only 4 queens on her side. Does end up finding another queen on Edzy's side, and should be able to have 5 of them here, including the steel. But that one red seal glass is just gonna go wild for Edzy right now.
Nuke it. Huge atomic nuke versus 7-month-old baby.
I mean, it's not a bad showing in terms of Neato's score here. I mean, she did what she could. Just missing that photograph is very limiting, and just didn't quite have the purples that we saw on Edzy's side to make these types of in-round plays towards this hand, and gets to $1 billion.
Wow. Getting some fantasy value there too at the end.
Absolutely. All right, I know you've got to run, Balatros, but any final words, as well as where people can find your content before you take off? Because
I'm just on YouTube at Balatro, same as what you see on the screen here. Really enjoyed chatting with you, Roffle. You're definitely one of my favorite commentators. You always give a lot of great insight, and that's specifically why I wanted to do this with you. Thank you for having me on, and that's pretty much it.
All right, go move on to your next cast, but everybody make sure to drop a follow for Balatros on both Twitch and YouTube. Make some great content that you've probably seen pop up in your feed anyway. Just make sure that you're subscribed to get the latest good video in your feed. So thanks for hanging out. It was a pleasure casting with you, and enjoy the next match. I'll be sending people your way so that they can watch that immediately.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
All right. GG's to both players. We do have the next match coming up in exactly 1 minute. Zeno, the script writers timed that perfectly. Thank you. Thank you again to everybody for hanging out. I know yesterday was a bit rough for a lot of us, myself included. So thank you for providing a good distraction from that. Thank you all for, some of you reached out and were very kind, and I appreciate that. And thank you to, in particular, Zeno and Frost Prime, who went through something similar and, you know, were able to, first of all, help with the technical aspects of it, but also just like, I don't know, the emotional distress that that went on. So, if you have a chance, make sure to check out and send some love to each of them today, because I mean, like I said, they went through it yesterday as well. So appreciate both of them very much. And yeah, and shout out to Odd Drizzle in particular, who was helpful in cleaning up Zeno's server, as well as providing some of the technical information for the rest of us to fix that as well. I'm going to take the rest of the day off. I'll probably be back on Friday, but thank you all for hanging out. And like I said, I'm going to send you over to Balatros, who is commentating with me. So hang out with him, and you can get to see the next matchup. This is going to be like a very good matchup. I think both of these players, you know, are very well matched, but have some distinct differences in their play style, to where, you know, you're going to want, you're going to want to watch this next match. So I'm going to send you over to Balatros. If you're on YouTube, I mean, you're already supposed to be going to subscribe to Balatros anyway, so might as well make that happen now, and that way you can watch the next match there as well. So thanks for watching, folks. I will see you tomorrow. It should be right around the usual time.
That's pretty good.